Hi and welcome. Let's see about file handling. So we all know what are files, correct? Now in files we store data, we store information. The file can be .txt file, .pdf file, correct? Previously this was the only source of data storage. Then came database and it provided us with many more functionalities. Okay. So therefore, files were replaced by database, but for larger data. Even today, if the data is smaller, for smaller data, or the data is very simple to query on, then still files are used. For example, if you want to store test cases, it's a normal integer type or double type numbers. Okay, so in that case, still files are used. So let's see how we can perform various operations on files. So the basic operations or files are creating a file, opening a file, closing a file, reading a file, and writing onto it, writing on a file. These are the basic operations on file. Okay. So let's see how we can perform these all operations. So the class that we are going to use here that is provided by the language is file class. Okay. So we are going to see different methods of this file class. So this file class, if when we write this file f equals to new file and we pass the path where we want to create the file, that file to be read from, and we pass the name of that file with extension. Fine. So when we do this, let's suppose the file is test file, test.txt. What do you think will happen? What will happen is if the file already exists, okay, if the file is already created, it already exists, then f will start referencing this file if it already exists. But if the file is not already existing, it is not existing till now, then it will not, f will not reference anything, it will not create a new file, this line will not create a new file. Remember this point, this particular constructor will not create a new file. If you want to create a new file, you have to use f.createNew file. This is present in the file class. If you want to create a new file, use f.createNew file. Fine. How we can check whether a file exists or not? So after writing this line, we can simply check using exists method. If we just print system.out.println f.exists, fine. So if the file already exists, this will return true. And if the file does not exist, it will return false. Okay. So if I call exist before creating the file, f.exist, and I print it, so this will return me false. And if I call it after creating the file, this will return me a true. Fine. If the file already exists and you call create new file again, if the file already exists and you call create new file, then nothing will happen. It will not create a new file. Okay, if the file already exists, this create new file method will not create a new file. Remember this point. Okay. Similar to this, the Java IO input output is based on Unix system. Fine. So not only files, you can also create folders. You can create directories. And for that, we use the function mkdir, make directory, mkdir. So we will simply do the same thing and we can write f.mkdir and this will create a directory. And f.exists also works here. Fine. So we will see this now in coding. Fine. So let's move on to our coding part. I will create a file in a path. I will show you that previously it was not present, but now it will be present after running the code. Okay. Let's see the coding part. So let's begin from here. This is the path that I am passing where I want to create the file. Okay. So this file currently does not exist. You can see this file does not exist. So we are simply creating the file. Okay, we are passing the path and the name of the file and the extension. Okay. Now we can check whether this exists or not. I can simply print system.out.println f dot exists, f dot exists. Then I can create a new file, f dot create a new file, and I can again print f dot exists. After creating the file, this should return a true. So if I run it, so first it will be false, then it will be true. Fine, this is returning me false, but this is returning me true. Why? Because the test file is now created. Whatever name we passed, it is now created. And if I again run it, it will be first will be true because it was previously created. Again, it will be true because it is created, but this will not work now. Fine, because the file is already created, so it will not again create the file. Fine. So this was about creating a file. Now, if you want to create a directory, you can simply run mkdir. Just call the function mkdir, pass the name of the directory. Suppose the name of the folder, the directory we are creating is test. So pass test, run the program, and now initially there was no directory, no folder with the name test. So it returns false. Then it creates the folder, and when we again check it, it returns true. As you can see, a folder is created. Fine. So the same thing, if we run it again, now it will be true and true. Okay. So mkdir also, if the folder already exists, it will not create the folder. Fine. So this was the introduction now, how to create a file or a folder. Rest things we will see from the next video. Thank you.